My Life, My Story. This is a program which features different people from different walks of life. I am your host, Chriswell Zimba. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, we encourage you to do so right now. Go to Chriswell, click on the subscription button, and also the bell for notifications when we have a new show. Today on the program, we feature one man I have been looking forward to hosting on this show ever since I met him. The first time that I heard his story, I said to myself, I need to hear more about this story, and people need to hear more about this story. Today, it's my privilege and honor to host Mr. Brian Chishimba on our show. Welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you.
I'm glad to have you here. It's been something that I've been thinking about, for a long time, and to have you seated right next to me, it's really such an honor.
Thank you, I'm honored.
How have you been?
I know I've been great and blessed by the grace of God.
Wonderful. In these difficult COVID times.
Yeah, in these difficult COVID times.
Yeah. How's your beautiful wife?
My wife is doing fine.
I remember last time during the ordination, you had to make sure that people saw that you married well.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you. I'm humbled.
Okay, great. Now, people are wondering why I'm excited to have you on this show. Maybe you may want to tell them who you are and where you're coming from, because currently I know you are the mobilization officer at Family Liberty.
Yes, I am the mobilization officer at Family Liberty, and also an evangelist at the station at the Holy Ghost Arena.
Yes.
Yeah, overseen by my mother, Bishop Liz Nzambalika.
I must say you are such a fiery evangelist. The fire in you and the passion is so contagious.
Yes, it's indeed by the grace of God, looking at where we are coming from. Yeah.
Interesting. So when you say where we are coming from, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's the same testimony we are about to talk about.
Okay, so share it with us.
Yes. I'm a person who struggled with alcoholism, drug abuse, sexual morality, and a lot of just bad things like insults, lying, having pride for a longer period of 14 years and 6 months.
14 years and 6 months?
Yes, 14 years and 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so to start sharing this story, I will briefly talk about my background so that people may even know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I was born in Kabwe,
Kabwe
town in Zambia. My mother and father died when I was just a young boy. When I was a little boy, I think by that time I was 6 years old when my mother died. So I grew up with my grandmother. And my grandmother had also had about my grandmother had 6 children. So that time she also lost 5 children.
Wow. And
those 5 children also had children. So we were all orphaned and being kept by our grandmother.
How many people were in that house?
We were 10 in total. Me from my mother, others from their mother, so we are 10.
Wow.
Being kept by our grandmother. So I did my grade 1 up to 7 in Kabwe district in Zambia. And after I passed very well primary education, my uncle, the only surviving son to my grandmother, so that I had got some good grades. So that's how he picked me and brought me here in Lusaka. Lusaka district, and he took me to Kablonga Boys, where I did my junior secondary education. So and those people I left in Kabwe, they were looking forward to see me becoming great, because they were seeing the type of marks, the potential.
Yes.
Grade 7 I did very well. In fact, I was the best student in grade 7.
Wow.
At our school. And again, grade 9 again, I was also the best student.
Really?
At Kablonga Boys, and qualified to go to Hillcrest. National Technical School.
That's like one of the best schools in Zambia.
Yes, a technical school.
Yes.
So that's how I went there to Hillcrest National Technical School to go and pursue now my senior secondary education.
That's 10 to 12.
Yes, 10 to 12. But in grade 10, in fact I remember it was because what happened that time, different families, children, they coming from rich families. So I mean, I forgot that I'm coming from a family where we've lost our parents, and I was supposed to pursue my vision of becoming a doctor because I wanted to be a doctor or an engineer. That was my dream career when I was just a child. And even my family, and where we were staying, they were all looking at me. And we've got Brian is now at Hillcrest. So in grade 10, term 3, in fact it was on 24th October. It was an independence, it was a holiday. So we drank with my friends because of peer pressure. They are drinking there and these other people are drinking. So I was also called to drink. I remember the first beer I took was Chatu.
Had you tested alcohol before that time?
No, I didn't test.
But that was so your introduction.
Yeah, that was my introduction because I didn't like alcohol from the beginning. Because all what I loved myself was studying, was writing, because writing is one of my hobbies. I just love writing. Even if there is nothing, I'll just start writing. You just me, I'll write and throw that paper. I just love writing. So that's what I just loved doing. And I didn't even love, I didn't want anything to do with alcohol. Yeah. But in grade, in 10, that's when I was introduced. So we drank that and I got drunk. That was the first time I realized that I became a bit powerful. I became, I could tell anyone in school. In fact, that time when I got drunk, because I used to, there were some ladies in school there at Hillcrest, whom we used to want to propose. You were
the nerds of the
So
school.
that time, that day when I got drunk, that very day, I even followed a certain lady in school. I'm going to go and tell her that I am interested in her because I had that courage.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after that day, I didn't drink again until the day we closed.
For 2 or years or 3? Almost.
No.
Or two, that very time.
That very day.
Yes.
It was in term 3.
So for 2 months.
Yeah. 2 months, somewhere in November, December, on the closing day, that's when I drank again and came back here to Lusaka. Then we went back now as grade 11s. Now when we went back, I wanted now to drink. First week. The very first week we drank. We got drunk and went and beat the PU prefect who used to keep some eggs.
We wanted eggs.
We wanted eggs to sell and to also eat. It was in the evening, so we beat him with my friend, who were the 2 of us. That's how this PU prefect reported us.
To the administration.
Yes, to the administration, and we were just in school for 2 weeks. That's how I was suspended. I was only suspended for 8 weeks. Then I didn't go back to Lusaka. I started just staying there in Livingstone now, just drinking, and forgot the vision which we were supposed to undertake. And there at Hillcrest, in fact, we were even doing pure sciences. Yeah. And when I went back in term 2 I was again, we drank again and we were caught drinking. And I was suspended again.
Wow. For the second time?
Suspended for the second time from school. I didn't go back home until my uncle came to visit. That's how he was told that your nephew is on suspension. That's how they had to trace me and found me in a place where I was looking very dead. When I saw my uncle coming, because he came with the head teacher, he just started crying, shedding tears, and that's how he picked me. Then we came back here to Lusaka. So we stayed with him, and he found me a place where I started going for tuitions at ICT there. So I was going for tuitions until grade 12. Term 1, I went to school. Immediately I reached in term 1, there was some riots there. Again, we engineered some riots in
Back at the same school.
At the same school, Eucharist.
Yes.
Now I started drinking, smoking even marijuana, introduced even a drug, marijuana, and also cigarettes, and we were even ringleaders. And that time I even used to be called now, I even had my names, Bonarivex.
Where did that name come from?
It came from Bronx. My uncle used to buy me a shoe, a very good shoe, Bronx. Every time I could go to school, Bronx. So when we reached there are some people who used to admire that shoe. Wama Bronx, very expensive shoe. So I even got that name and named myself Bronx. And now, in term 3, before I was suspended, I discovered the project. An insecticide, which I named, it was potacchloronicotinamide. That was the scientific.
I can't even pronounce
yes.
I'm not even going to try.
So I named it the Bronx insecticide.
Okay.
So now the name came, that's why I got the names Brand, Bronx, Brave Brigo, Bonarivex, Geodanx, Geomuffin.
How many names are those?
There were a lot of names. And because there was a group called the Gambino Crime Family at Eucharist. So we all had names. So those were my names, where we would camp there and start smoking. So in term 1, grade 12, when we went there, we engineered some riots, where we destroyed the tuck shop and did a lot of damage at Eucharist, and I was expelled from school. Only allowed to go and write my grade 12 final exam.
From term 1?
Yes, from term 1.
And you never went back to school?
No, I was in school.
Oh, okay.
Doing all sorts of things, till they found out in term 2 that I'm still in school, and I was caught even saying. For the school, then I was taken into police cells. Then again they removed me. That's how at that time my grandfather was there. He was the younger brother to my grandmother. He was even a mayor in Livingston. That's how I was removed and tried to be helped. And by the grace of God, even insulted. I remember before I went back to Lusaka, I even insulted the headmaster. So the headmaster was very furious with me. And when the time came for the final exam, which I was allowed to write, during additional mathematics, he even came and removed me from the exam. And when he took me to his office, when there were about 40 minutes remaining, that's when he told me to go and write.
I had a similar experience, you don't believe it.
Yeah.
I had a similar experience. I was extracted from my art exam. I'd only taken back when I think, art is like 3 hours?
Yes.
I was only taken back when there was 30 minutes remaining. And I was asking myself, what do I draw? You told me to draw a tin, I'll end up drawing a stone.
Yeah, and the good part is that I have always loved mathematics. And it has always been like my #1 subject. So though he removed me, by the grace of God, I even had a distinction.
Really?
Yes, in additional maths. And I passed very well by the grace of God, passed very well I got my results, and now went back to Kabwe, where I just started drinking, and I applied at the Copperbelt University to go and do my degree program. When I reached at the Copperbelt University, there now with the meal allowance and project allowance
and the freedom
and we used to get meal allowance 300, book allowance 300, project 700.
Wow.
1 pin 3.
That was a lot of money.
It was like just because I even remember the group I joined. There are some groups who had stayed there for about 15 years.
No.
They're even boasting that me, I've been at CBU for 15 years.
15 years.
2 medical doctors and 1 fresher. So that is the group I was with. We were just drinking, doing all sorts of bad things, when we steal in campus, they arrest us. Well, I was in that year. I was arrested about, I can't even count. But Riverside police was even, who is this fresh? Who is so bad? Who is so?
And you were just a freshman.
I was just a freshman. And we even assaulted somebody. The one they used to call, in fact, they used to call him G Unit. He was like the big monk.
The don of the
yes,
campus.
the big monk. So as we just got some bottles, we had a fight and even cut him. He reported the assault case. We were arrested, and the only time we had to be released because we negotiated that we'll start paying him our allowances. So our allowances for the next, I think, 4 months, we are going to him.
To G Unit.
Yes, that's how I was from CBU. When the exams were now nearing, right, and after we wrote some other exams, we were about to write others. I was so frustrated. I was not ready. I knew that I had not passed. And so we were at a balcony, very drunk, drinking. That's how I fell on the balcony, hit myself on the ground, and I became unconscious. And I was taken to Quito Central Hospital by Captain Kepi. I remember if I mentioned his name, he's from Zambia. I'm told now he's even Brigadier General. That's how he took me there. He came there that time to study. Yeah, he took me to Quito Central Hospital. That's how I was in Quito Central Hospital for 1 month. And
it was serious.
Yeah, it was so serious. My grandmother couldn't come, only the other one from my father's side, she's the one who came. But by the grace of God, I survived, and I couldn't continue with my degree program. And I felt hopeless. I felt so depressed, and applied to withdraw the program on medical grounds. That's how I was granted, and went back to Kabwe. Kabwe, I just started now drinking machibuku, speaking mathematical questions in the exam. I'm very intelligent, citing verses of the Bible. I loved Ecclesiastes 9 verse 11, where I would say I used to comfort myself because of my failures. And now I became a very perpetual liar, just cheating people, stealing from my grandmother. Everything she bought, I was stealing and selling. But I really wanted to change, but I was failing, and I knew that what I was doing was bad. I became a wasted project until when we were drinking in the bar. Then one man loved me. He said, this young man is very intelligent. They are employed at our workplace. Try your luck. That's how I went home, got to my certificate Twanga and applied.
So that was the end of your university education at that
yes,
time.
My academic career was shattered. Then I applied for a job. That's how I was picked in the office of the president. And I was even told to come here to Lusaka. That's where we did our training from here. Upon finishing our training, when on our graduation day, matipasa na macheki, setri nini, check, na salary, my allowances, and it was my first time seeing such money. I was so happy. Where I went, those Indians in Kamwala, and just changed my money, check. I had my money, because I was posted to go to Manza.
Okay.
And
you had cash on you?
I had cash. I just reached home in Kabwe, gave my grandmother a bit of some money. The following day, went to Mansa. Mansa there, immediately I just reached, the first day I reached in Mansa. The first day I reached in Mansa, I found this young lady. She's the one who welcomed us. I said, this woman is very beautiful. Because I reached there in July. In July, August, September, October, November, we started living together. Because I admired her the very first day I found her. And by November, we started living together. And because me, I was posted in a remote area in Matanda. So I knew that this woman, I think the only way I can come and start staying with her is a transfer. That's how we even took ourselves to the civic center and got a marriage certificate. and married. And we presented that marriage certificate, and that's how I was not even transferred by the system. I transferred myself.
2 months.
Yes, that you cannot keep a man and husband
apart.
So they were all shocked to see at my office I was a problem. I could do things which I wanted on my own. So in fact, the transfer followed me. Because I stopped, I told them I'm not going back. That's how I even started staying. We had one child died. Yes. Okay, after that child died, then we were told that the reason why this child died because you didn't follow the rules, because you are HIV positive, you are a positive couple. Yeah.
Did you know before that?
I didn't know. I just discovered.
At that stage?
Yes, and I lost hope in life. I just started drinking. So the second child also now died. When we had the second pregnancy, the second child died. When the second child died, that's when by then I had gotten the number for Bishop Cruz Lumbama. That's how I called him, because I was so powerless. And this child had stayed somewhere this month. So I was so powerless. That's how Bishop Cruz Lumbama from Grace Ministries, Mansa, I called him. And then he was pastor. I said, we've lost another child. Brian Onasangire, because we had met him, I was doing some work, so I got his number. So that's how he came. They helped us now, and this child we even buried very well. And that's when I also met a pastor, Bishop Liz.
Oh, it was in Mansa.
Is now my mother in the Lord. Yes, I met her in Mansa that time when she was planning international regional manager. In fact, even our car went on the funeral. Yes, that time when she was there, they really, the Grace Ministry people, they came and helped us. Even when I was not even going there to church, so they came and helped us, and that's how we even buried that child very well. And they started praying for us, trying to help us to see that that marriage works, trying to tell my family. So I told them that my grandmother is not interested, but they really wanted us to be together. But my grandmother, because they did not acknowledge even the marriage.
It wasn't done in a correct
way. So there were all problems over there and there, until my wife also now, she was upset by then, living with me. And she also said, no, I cannot continue living with this man. And she also now walked out and filed for a divorce.
Wow.
Yeah, she filed for a divorce in the courts. So during that process, when she filed for a divorce, let me just get back. We had another third child who is still alive.
Okay.
And is also HIV negative, because we had followed the rules. Yes. So now she fought to go back. Now she filed for a divorce. And during that process, I was so depressed, upset. And in 2013, during the elections, when the Honorable Sakeni died, it was even in by-election. I destroyed the MMD campaign materials.
Oh.
And it was even on news all over Facebook. Even now, when you Google,
out of frustration,
I was upset. Yeah. That time when Honorable Dr. Chimshao, yes, I was even arrested and taken to prison. I was in prison. I only stayed in prison for 2 months by the grace of God, because the candidate who stood on MMD is a pastor and he knew me, so he had to discuss with Dr. Nevas Mumba, the MMD president and the national secretariat. That's how they withdrew the case, because this time I could have been saving, that destruction of campaign materials is classified under sabotage activities and destruction of government materials. So even this is, because that was 2013. So it's by the grace of God that prison rejected me. Because I call it as prison rejected me for this opportunity to preach the gospel. After I came out of prison, I now continue just drinking. And I stopped.
And your divorce had already gone through?
No.
It was still in the process?
Immediately now, after she had come out of prison, she brought a sermon for divorce. That's how I went to court and they divorced me. And that, immediately the day they granted divorce, the following day I went and found the same magistrate having sitting as now a magistrate, not as a local court. She was seated as a magistrate and went and insulted her. Then I just saw her that she was writing some things of like contempt of that's how I went and booked on a bus, got on a bus, Lusaka. I knew that prison put in Ghana.
You bought it.
Yes. After I stayed here for about two weeks, 1 month, I went back to Mansa again. Immediately I reached Mansa, I was not eating. I sold all my property. I stopped going for work. That's how I walked naked. I was just told after I read this letter. In fact, I read it in China. It was found, it's even there in my file, that an officer has run mad. So I walked naked from the market. Paul explained to me from the market to home.
And you were not aware?
I was not aware.
At that particular time?
No, I was not aware. In fact, I just found it. I just read it in the files when I was admitted in China.
So at that time,
then I started finding out.
You were on alcohol?
Yes, I was.
You were still doing drugs?
Yes, and I was now depressed. Yes.
Prison?
Divorce.